Hi, welcome to Journal with Patrick. This is Patrick, and today's episode is going to be a little different. Instead of focusing on one main branch, I want to share with you the biggest insights I've gathered this week while I was reading The Presence Process by Michael Brown. It's been a fascinating journey so far. It's only been 2 weeks, but this is not just a book, but it's an experience that's challenging me how I see myself and how I experience and deal with my emotions and my overall perspective on personal growth. It's fascinating. So the first lesson that I want to share with you is a concept called emotional imprinting. One of the first things that stood out for me is this concept, emotional imprinting. So the author explains that by the time we are 7 years old, we've already absorbed the emotional patterns that from our parents or caregivers. It's almost like by seeing or experiencing the way they handle their emotions, that's what becomes our starting point for how we do that when we're adults. So that means that a lot of the discomfort, the triggers and the struggles that we face, they're not random. They are deeply connected to the emotional blueprints or imprints that we inherit. The real path to change isn't about fixing things on the surface, like in the physical realm or the mental realm. It is about integrating those emotions, what he calls emotional charge. My second learning that I want to share is a different perspective on self-medication. Another insight that really surprised me was this new perspective. So normally when we hear self-medications, we start to think about pills or alcohol abuse or substance abuse. But Michael Brown talks about self-medication as any behavior we use to suppress any uncomfortable emotion. So it again is that emotional charge that we're suppressing by engaging in these habits. That could be something like scrolling on your phone or eating a lot or just distracting yourself with work. So you just want to avoid the present. That's the whole idea of the book, and not stay with your emotion. You actually suppress it or numb it or try to, control it. And that, really hit me because I often try to just fix everything and trying to never feel bad about myself. The lesson number 3 that I want to share here is another perspective, a very interesting, controversial even perspective about addiction. So many recovery programs encourage people to identify as an addicted person all their lives. You are obese, you are sober, you're a drug addict, that's who you are all your life, no matter how long you've been away from the habit, that's what you are for life. I've never agreed with this, and now, I have a, deeper layers to be able to understand that. The addictions are coming from unresolved emotions again. And if these emotions can actually be solved, that means that you're able to heal for good and give up on your addiction. The fourth learning that I want to share is one of the core concepts of the book. Michael Brown calls it getting better at feeling. This is interesting. So personal growth is often seen as feeling better, more positive, more confident, more successful. But in this framework, we almost get that the opposite is true. The goal is not to feel better. The goal is to get better at feeling, which means to learn fully to experience all your emotions. They could be sadness, anger, frustration, joy, excitement. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. You don't suppress and you don't discriminate the good and the bad. And when I read that, I realized that I do that a lot. I try to stay positive all the time. And it's not like being more positive is not positive in itself, but sometimes it can be turned into denial. So presence requires us to be grateful for everything, the good, the bad, and everything in between. So those were my main takeaways from reading and experiencing the presence process this week: emotional imprinting, self-medication, a new perspective on addiction, and getting better at feeling. So here's a prompt for you. Since we are in journaling with Patrick, what is one emotion you try to avoid in general? Try to feel it without judgment. Thank you so much for listening to Journal with Patrick. If you'd like to go deeper into the one-page game, which is my journaling method, you can join our community at onepagegame.com/start. I'll see you next time.